Yo! What's going on, everybody? Channeling my best inner Dave Laffy, sometimes called Loogie Loffren. Laffy. We just call him Laffy around here. I'm Nolan Kelly. I am here with one of the best ball players on the planet, Mr. James Brimacombe. He has done how many contests have you entered, James, since the playoffs started?
I've maxed out a bunch of the mittens, and I've trying to find the time to do these gauntlets. So I'm just working away.
This is a full-time job for you. I think you need to become a pro best baller.
Yeah, I don't say I was a pro or anything because you need to win. So
that's all right. We're gonna take it down together right here, and I'm gonna do it on my account, but we'll give you a little 10% finder's fee if we win the millie. What's the top prize for the gauntlet here, James?
I think it's what, 200K.
200K. That'd be a nice little February bonus if we make it happen. So what we're gonna do on today's show, we're gonna talk a little bit about best ball strategy, about some of these playoff tournaments. And we are going to do 2 drafts, I think, hopefully, if they cooperate. The gauntlet is not filling at the same rate as the mittens are. But James is a great person to talk strategy with here. He has obviously done a ton of them, and there's a lot of strategy to go into these. On Underdog, you want to be like, you got to plan your draft out a little bit and know what's coming down the road, because there are a number of different ways that you can go once you get going. So why don't we enter the draft queue while we're chatting here? And let's see. So we only got two waiting. We'll see. Like, these mittens were filling up like in seconds. This morning I had a gauntlet that was filling up. I don't know. Probably took like 5 minutes. So we're getting going there. These are also going to move very quickly, so we'll try to do some analysis as we go. We'll try to be prepped to do these picks, so bear with us as we stream this live too. So, but why don't we talk broadly just about general strategy? One thing as well, if you haven't, I guess I should note off the bat. Promo code Awesemo on Underdog. It is a fantastic deal. You get a $100 deposit match bonus. So we really appreciate if you use our promo codes. Helps us keep the lights on here, keep these shows free, and it's a great deal as well on Underdog. So go use promo code Awesemo and get into some of these drafts. They're honestly the most fun drafts you could ever do. So it looks like we got pick number 4 here, James. What are we thinking just going in? We got 30 seconds until this draft start. What are you aiming to do with pick number 4 when you're drafting in some of these, like the gauntlet?
Yeah, I think you're actually in the best spot. So actually pick 5, which
pick 5, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're in the best spot. So I like to be 1-5 or 1-6 right on the turn. Like, that's where you want to be.
It gives you like kind of, you can plan that next pick, right? So quite often what I find I'm doing here is taking like Tyreek and hoping, or Kelsey and hoping Mahomes falls sometimes. Have you been doing that as well, or are you going more like seeing who falls and going from there?
So the reason I like those picks, because at the start, you're always going to get Kupp, you're always going to get Adams, and then you get confused. People don't know if they take Hill, Kelsey. So when you're at the turn like that, you have options. I like KC and I like Buffalo. So you're going to have options probably to stack either one of those.
You are a Buffalo enthusiast. Here we go. So we got Kupp, Hill, and Adams off the board, and then Kelsey goes. So,
yep.
So you think we should go with the Diggs Allen stack here?
Yeah, that's what I would do. So,
and I'm assuming Diggs first. You want to, like, the strategy here is basically you want to get, if you take Josh Allen and you miss out on Diggs, it's probably not a big deal because you've got so many weapons. But for something like Green Bay, if you take Aaron Rodgers and then you miss out on Devontae Adams, you're kind of a little bit screwed, right? You sort of want to guarantee yourself the wide receiver first.
Yeah, and right here where Mahomes is on the board too. So this guy might snipe you on Allen, but he's probably going to take Mahomes before you.
And talk to me a little bit. It looks like we probably got our next pick, but talk to me a little bit about the teams that you're targeting. I noticed in your exposures, you're really high on Buffalo. You're really high on Cincinnati as well. What's the rationale behind those?
So I just want teams that are playing wild card weekend, like the first weekend, and obviously Diggs and Josh Allen. Those guys are fantasy guys. Like Allen could get rushed 2 touchdowns. It could be like a tough game against Patriots, but at the same point, even if it's a tough game, he could get a score or 2 on the ground, or 60 yards rushing, which I think he's gonna help you either way. He could blow up, or he could just
Yeah.
have a nice floor for you either way.
And look, we gifted Poppy here. Poppy gets the nice Mahomes Kelsey stack, which is very, very possible at the end of the turns. I've been getting a lot of these stacks, and honestly, those are the teams I feel most comfortable with when I'm getting like a nice KC stack. You've got your AFC team, you've got your AFC favorite, and they're playing in week 1. There's not much more to ask. Let me ask you this though: if you did have that Mahomes stack, are you trying to get the running back, or like we have with Allen and Diggs, are you trying to get that running back so you don't have to worry about like pairing up your NFC running back with your team so that you're covered when the Super Bowl happens and you've got a full roster?
I do a bunch of different ways. Say if I get if I get Kelsey and Mahomes, and then if I'm on the turn, I don't mind taking both the KC running backs, and then I'm just done with running back.
Yep.
And then I have 4 KC guys to start my draft, and then it's just 6 NFC players that I can look at.
All right, we are on the clock here. Derrick Henry, Higgins, Henry, Jones, Brady, all gone. We got Lamb, Gronk, Devin Singletary. We could go for the full team stack here. AJ Brown, I'd rather probably stay away from. So are we starting our NFC stack here? Are we going to take Devin Singletary? What would you do in this situation?
I'd probably take Lamb. And
okay,
then because there's a lot of Cowboys, but I'd also like when you're doing this, just queue up those guys. Queue up Singletary, queue up Lamb. Just so like, yeah, if we get stuck talking
team
about
management.
this.
That's a good point. It's a good thing to get a hold of, because you never know when you're going to get disconnected from one of these drafts. Like there's a lot going on, and you want to make sure that you're covered and you have like a 15-second buffer. So I like that as well. Yeah, I actually like taking Zeke here, but I'm open to taking Amari if you think differently. Just because
that guy stole Singletary. Jeez, yeah, he's got a Tampa stack, so I'm surprised he didn't take Gronk.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean these drafts as well. If you haven't done any yet, you'll notice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk here. Am I going Zeke or Coop?
Yeah, I'm getting the running back.
Let's do it. You'll notice that like they're a little bit crazy. You can't guarantee, nothing is guaranteed. So if you're doing like a higher dollar contest, like the big, what is it, the big mitten, the big glove, you probably want to guarantee yourselves those stacks, because you never know if someone's going to come in and snipe them, right? So at least I have had very, very high levels of sniping going on of late. So
So what I would do here for you, Nolan, I would just highlight running back and receiver. We don't need quarterback anymore. So you can just actually click on those tabs.
Whoa. We don't need quarterback anymore. That is something that we need to talk about a little bit here, because I think 2 quarterbacks is a viable strategy. And let me throw this theory at you. Like if I'm getting a Mahomes, I'm probably not taking another quarterback. But if I'm getting a second quarterback, what that gives me is possibly a little bit of leverage as rounds goes on. Let's say that Josh Allen has a really bad game in week 1, but I get bailed out by my Dallas stack and I happen to make week 2. All of a sudden, I'm one of very few stacks around with Josh Allen covered. Do you not think that's a viable strategy?
To have 2 QBs? Yeah. I think it is, but I'm not going to look at QB until like probably around 8 or 9. If one of those guys falls, then I'll consider it. I want to build like my core first, and then because there's no way I really want to spend another pick when I only have five roster spots. I want those 5 first picks to be really meaningful.
It's not that like, so we don't want to be playing. And the other thing as well, obviously there's only 1 quarterback spot. So even if Dallas meets Buffalo in the Super Bowl, you're still going to be covered at that position, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What do we got? We got a bunch of running backs up in the queue. Sonny Michel projects really well in Awesemo's DFS projections this week. I noticed he's one of the top running backs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Matt Stafford. Obviously, we're not going to take Dawson Knox. Are we going with the double stack here, or are we going to sneak in one of these other running backs?
Yeah, queue him up. That's good. And let's talk about it. I keep seeing Sonny Michel drop in these. Even if you like him and he projects high, I would wait it out a little bit. But I don't mind. So our build right now is the Buffalo.
Yeah.
So let's 5 go. Seconds. I'd go Knox here, but then in our next picks, you got the Buffalo quarterback and receiver stack already, and we can stack the back of that later pretty easily. But now you can look at NFC running backs, like you said. So we have Sony queued up there.
That's a great point. So you're with this structure of the lineup, you are going to need an NFC running back in there because we're not going to take Zach Moss. These only
Yep.
go 10 rounds deep. Zach Moss is an afterthought. Matt Breida has been benched. So it's essentially we are punting running back from Buffalo, which means we need, if you are going to win this, you are going to need an NFC matching running back on there. So you agree with that statement?
Yes, to some degree, but you could also go just Pollard. So if you think it's going to be Buffalo
True.
Dallas, you just
No,
get Zeke and Pollard and be done at running back too.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't go Pollard. I'm just saying you will need an NFC running back in the finals.
Right. Yep.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah. So now you have. So once we get one or two more, wait, we got Knox, right? So we got three bills. So yeah, I think you could do one more bill, and then you got four, and then you can just do NFC, like mix and match any way you want. And you're going to give yourself a lot of different avenues to succeed. And then I think even at the end, if you're a 2 QB guy, and like we're even right now, Prescott's just sitting out there, and you're in round 7.
He's just waiting to be taken. We got sometimes some of these drafts are crazy, right, James? Like you'll have like just quarterbacks go off the board. The mitten is especially because you're getting a lot of rubes in there, a lot of newbies who are just checking this out for the first time. They're just like taking quarterbacks off the board. Sometimes you get a sharper crew here together, and you're like, okay, I'm pretty happy with my one quarterback. I'm going to stick with it, right?
Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't put Stafford there though, because you have nothing. Oh yeah, you got Sony. Yeah, that's right.
And could grab a Van Jefferson. Tyler Higbee is basically free as well, which is kind of nice. Odell's been slipping. A lot of the Rams have been slipping, and I like them in their. They've got a high scoring matchup week 1. They're favored to win. They seem to me like a team that could probably take down the Packers if they go to the second round. Like I don't dislike taking a fair amount of Rams stacks in these, but what's your thoughts on the Rams just generally?
I like them. Yeah, I think they look good in round 1, and I think they could, if they go to round 2, it would be against the Packers, I believe. Like if everything worked out how I see it, and I know you're a Packers fan there with the hat. So
I'm not just a fan, James. I'm an owner. All right.
Okay, next draft we'll go all Packers.
Let's do that next draft. If we get a decent position, let's talk about bye weeks when we do our next draft, because this is a really complicated thing. You do not want to have too many bye players, but it could end up it's kind of like a GPP strategy almost. Like you're banking on possibly getting your team into the next round with less players, and when you do get there, you're going to have some reinforcements coming. So let's talk here. We got Dak is off the board. We missed out on him. James Conner.
I would search Bills. Just hit that search and then type in Bills.
Beasley.
Yeah, you got Beasley. So
Gabriel Davis.
If you just type in Bills, it will show up all the Bills.
You think?
Yeah, just type Bills there.
Well, that's it. That's what we got.
Oh. Yeah, see, it'll bring everybody up.
See, like we're gonna reach here on Cole Beasley. I probably wouldn't do that if I was maybe a little bit prepared, chatting a little bit too much here. But it's not the end of the world, right? We got a nice triple stack from Buffalo. So that does make me a little bit nervous, though. Like given how that first playoffs game went against the Patriots, right? We could see a scenario where the Bills' offense gets shut down and you're in big trouble, right? So. Might want to just kind of stop taking Bills at this point, I think.
Yeah, that's your call. It's your $25 you got in play here. So
you would take more Bills?
Yeah, I'm good with 4 or 5. So,
but so like,
I probably would have went Pollard or Sanders after, because I don't. Yeah, you're investing so much in Josh Allen. You're picking him first, second round. So you just.
But all it takes is one bad game to get you out of the. Like if he has one bad game against the Patriots, this team is dead, right?
Right, but your team's gonna be dead. It's 1 out of 6 that has to advance. So you don't have any cushion. Like if it's 2 out of 6, like I don't know. I think 1 out of 6, you're just like all in. You're just taking your shot.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, because if you wanna. I don't hate that with Stafford and Sony, but
24 implied total this week, so it's not like the end of the world. It's not like
Mhm.
you're stacking up Steelers with a 16 implied total. I actually do go like one quarterback a lot of the time as well. It's just like I do see some benefits to the two quarterback system, which is one, you have buffer if one of your guys goes off one week and the other doesn't. It's actually something Awesemo talked about last um, uh, underdog off season when we were drafting for the 2021 season. He was actually in favor of taking more stacks because it allows you to differentiate come playoff time. When one of your teams doesn't go off, the next you might get another one of your stacks go off, and then maybe you've got a unique build for that next week. But it sounds like you lean more to the opposite of that, though.
I do like 50 different strategies. So I do what you're doing now, but it probably maybe only 15% of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm usually more aggressive the other way.
Makes sense. All right, we got a pick coming up here. So we are gonna probably need to take a Ram, I guess, if we want another stack that would pair up with Buffalo.
Yeah, so just type in, if you just type in Rams there, it would
we're
and
pretty
then you
much
can scroll
done,
down
it's Higbee or bust at this point. So
yep. Yeah, he's all you got.
But we only have two running backs. Would you grab like a James Conner as like a one-off? Hope he has a couple touchdowns gained, gets you through the next week. Anyone else here that you're kind of targeting other than Higbee, maybe on with our last pick?
Yeah, I actually love Connor just in this format because half PPR and just the touchdown upside. Like that guy, if he's healthy and on the field, he's going to get touchdowns. So I know people don't like him as much, and they're always on Edmund's side. So what you do too, you already have Sony, and then you take Connor. That you're going to have a running back in the second round because they play each other too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So, and are you shying away from that a little bit, or are you not worried? How are you just trying to get a perfect team through, or trying to like maximize your odds of getting through round one?
So I think that would do both for you, right? So that's going to help you in round one because one of those running backs gets a touchdown, a 100-yard game. They're probably going to score for you that week, and then the next week you're going to have one of those available as well. So it helps in both scenarios. But I think you also need one at that position where you're taking the team stack as well. So
right. Makes sense. What would you have done differently this draft? So we're done. That's quick. It happens quickly. It's over. What would you have done differently? You would have gone. You wouldn't have taken Stafford there, and you might have gone more Bills, or what kind of strategy would you have done if you were making these selections?
No, I think this is a solid build. I think just guys like Beasley, Higbee, and Knox, they might not score at all, but if you get one out of those three to score in your flex spot, you're good. Or also we have three decent running backs on this squad, so then I think one of those guys to score in your flex. So I think it's a really good build, and it sets you up. Bills take a run, you're set up. So you're set up in a few different ways. I know people want 5 players in the Super Bowl. That's kind of the goal. Some people are say 6 or 7 is even better because you're gonna
good luck getting those teams through the first round, though. You really got to have like a perfect draft. And I guess like there are different ways, because like if you're talking about having 5 or 6 players and it's Packers versus Titans, no one's gonna have that. It's impossible, right? If someone upsets another team, it's gonna be like it depends on the teams that end up there that are gonna kind of like make the requirements for how many players you're gonna need, right?
No, for sure. And yeah, it's such a different tournament that I'm so used to doing the mittens because it's a totally different strategy for me, totally different rankings, and just like the way of thinking altogether. So it's tough. It's going to be tough. And I think whoever makes it through, it's going to be a lot of luck, like every round. And then the finals teams are going to be super interesting. Like if it's a Packer Super Bowl, like I don't even want to see what the final teams look like.
Yeah, it's going to be really like, I think there are probably going to be teams that like maybe you go maybe you get like a Dylan Adams Rodgers combo, and then you manage to take enough good players in the later rounds in round one, like you have Raiders or Bengals or Steelers, like you're grabbing like the Deontay Johnsons and the Najee Harrises and the Josh Jacobs in your last round, and then those get you through to the next round, and then all of a sudden you've got the reinforcements, you've got the Packer stack, the field is narrowed. It's a path to getting there, right?
No, for sure. Yeah, you're gonna have to get lucky first round if you're going Packers Titans. Like you're gonna have to hit almost perfectly on those 5 other players or whatever other players you have on your roster that are playing this weekend.
What's the maximum amount of players on a bye you will take in a draft?
I honestly have been avoiding the Packers and Titans for mainly. So like I'm probably like maybe 10% on the Packers. Like I'll take Adams if I don't mind taking him as like a one-off and then just going AFC heavy.
Yep.
And then maybe I get Dylan later if Dylan falls, but like I can't really justify overpaying for Rodgers and Jones right now. Like those two just seem, and this kind of the same with Henry. Like he's probably going to be back and he's probably going to be healthy, but are they really going to give him 30 touches a game? Like it just makes me nervous. And I actually think the Bengals beat the Raiders. They're probably playing in Tennessee, and I like Bengals shot at taking down Tennessee in that second round. So
guess what? We got the 4th pick. We got the 4th pick this time, not the 5th pick. So we can try and maybe build that. I'm on the exact same page as you with these bye weeks. I really hate doing that. I'm light on the Packers. I'm light on the Titans. And anytime I do try to stack them or try to like come up with some like late combo of the two, my teams just look like garbage. And for round 1, I'm like this team has like a 5% chance of making it out. So you're just losing all of that win equity right off the bat. You know, it's really difficult to make it happen.
No, I agree. I do think if you're going heavy on like a Bills or a Chiefs build to start in the first few rounds, I think you can look for like AJ Dillon like 4th, 5th round, something like that. Yep. But I don't think you're going to be able to get Jones in a build that in the end you like even if you get Dillon and Lazard, like Lazard's coming on, he's pretty low down there. So
yeah, exactly. That's a really good way to put it, to do it, right? So what you do is you don't take Packers. Maybe you get a Bills or a Chiefs stack. You fill out your roster and you leave like the last 2 rounds, and you're taking a Valdez-Scantling. Maybe you do take a Dillon or a Jones.
Randall Cobb 10th round.
Randall Cobb who will probably.
Oh, here you go. Let's go Adams. Here, this is your Green Bay team.
Oh my God, I'm nervous, but yeah, let's do it. What do you want to pair them with? Are we going Rodgers on the way back here, or are we just going to take like just take a non?
You seem like a 2 QB guy, so I think if you go Rodgers, you're getting another QB anyway.
That's true. I hate the 2 quarterback thing without having someone playing in the first round, though. It's like you can't like I want someone who's going to be I don't know, someone who's going to be putting some points on the board in that first round, who's going to be guaranteed to.
I mean, you can get Jalen Hurts. You can go Rodgers here, and then you get Jalen Hurts in the last round. Like
that's true. That's a really good strategy, I think, because hopefully you got some rushing yards there and a nice baseline, and he projects really well as well for us in week 1 too.
Yeah, if you don't want to go Rodgers here, yeah, I think going Bengals stack. That usually, if you go Packers, I see a lot of Packers and Bengals stacked together. It just kind of fits together.
Yeah.
Other teams I see like Packers and the Rams, or not the Packers and the Rams, like the Rams. I can't remember the Rams and Bills go together pretty good too. And that's what we did last draft.
Kelsey lasting until the second round here. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, if Kelsey's still there, I'd take him. Definitely.
He will not be. He's going to go right here. I think there's going to be like a 1% chance he lasts.
I got him at 2.6 earlier today.
Wow. Maybe he's dropping.
This guy's worried.
We will take him if he goes.
Who's on this? Yeah, so you take Kelsey.
Yeah, let's take him. I was very wrong there.
So you get Adams and Kelsey. Like nobody has that pairing. So now you
beautiful.
Now don't screw up the rest of your draft. And
this is exactly.
And you have a unique.
Exactly what goes through my head when you get like a great pairing. You're like, okay, this is a special draft. Like I got to really focus on this one, right?
No. Yeah, Rodgers is gone. So
Rodgers gone.
Mahomes so you don't have a Green Bay or KC.
So that's the issue now. It's like if both these teams make the Super Bowl, you're not winning any tournament, right?
So now you're already thinking it's like, okay, conference finals. That's what you want to think. So who are these teams going to play in the conference? If it's the Bills, you're screwed on that side.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you hope Jamar Chase is not going to last. So you're left with like maybe another Dallas stack.
I think Dallas.
Actually, I know you're not a high on the 49ers, but I think like if you're looking at a team that has a lot of value in these drafts, it's probably the 49ers. Like you can get Garoppolo for free. Kittle and Debo are going to probably put up points in round 1, and they're only 3-point dogs to the Cowboys. So I don't hate that move if it's there.
Is Burrow there right now? That's
yeah, he's there. So let's take Jamar Chase here.
Yep.
And hope that we get Burrow on the way back.
If you don't get Burrow, then you go for Dak. If you don't get Dak, then you're probably going for Murray, or maybe you go Murray and Stafford together. And then you're guaranteeing you get a QB in both rounds. And, and you hope one goes
ugly
to
though, right? That's real ugly.
But I see, this is what I've been learning in these last few drafts I've been doing, is when you get like Adams, Kelsey, and Chase to start a draft, no one has that. And you worry about your stacks later. Like you didn't get those top QBs. There's nothing you can do about that. So you just have to adjust. But I think in the Gauntlet, where it's one team out of 6 is advancing, like Adams, Kelsey, and Chase, like all those guys can blow up. So you have huge points potential right there.
Where's our boy T. Higgins as well? We got all these Bengals just sitting there waiting. I almost might wait on Burrows here and take a risk. Like I know it's not the prudent thing to do. Well, now that Mixon's gone.
Yeah, I would have took Mixon and then I would have went Burrow.
Yeah, makes sense. Would you the smart thing to do is take Burrow, but if you do risk it, like all of these guys, only one guy.
What's his team? Click on his name. What does he have?
He's going to take Stafford probably.
Yeah,
so
he's probably taking Stafford and he's taking Tannehill.
This guy has Mahomes. He's not taking him. This guy has Rodgers. So that's a possibility that he takes Burrow. Right. So this is another good point. Always look ahead at what especially if you're around the turn, it's really simple to see like what that person picking 6th and 7th is doing and then adjusting. So if they have 4 running backs and you're debating between a running back and wide receiver, it's not rocket science, but something I try to do.
I wouldn't mind looking at running back here too. I like Zeke in the spot, or even if you want to go Dylan, just to have the 2-player stack on Green Bay.
Dylan, hey, oh man, there's so many choices. Dylan. Let's see. So we got Higgins, Zeke, Burrow, and Dylan. I think Dylan we got a shot at getting a little bit later on, but it does make sense.
I would probably go Burrow, just lock it in, unless you want to wait for Dak. So it's up to you.
Let's lock it in. Let's play it safe. Play a little safe.
But now you're gonna want Dylan for sure.
T Higgins goes. Okay, let's move AJ Dillon to the front of our queue. And then I guess we're playing for a Bengals Packers matchup at this point. Any other, like, would you adjust and create another stack after this? Because I don't really like, as much as I like the Bengals, I don't think they're making the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe you could have waited here and we could have went with Dak instead. So
that's all good. It's all good.
But they already, Higgins is already gone and Mixon. So
Lamb's gone as well. Like these Cowboys just go off at random times. Like people are just like Cedric Wilson will go. I don't know. Seems like a lot of these Cowboys are going. But we could also take Darrell Williams and pair him with or Clyde Edwards-Helaire and pair him with Kelsey, and then go with an NFC stack, and then you've got NFC versus KC or AFC versus Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I think keep him in the queue there. That's the way to go. I would put Tyler Boyd in there too. Then you have the triple Cincy.
He's got. I only have Chase. I don't have a double. Let's take AJ Dillon. What do you think, or Zeke?
You could take Zeke and try to risk it here, but the next guy doesn't have a running back, so he's going to probably take Zeke if you don't.
Here's the thing. Okay, what are we looking at? So we got Sonny Michel, James Conner, Damian Harris, Elijah Mitchell. There's a decent amount of running backs. So like I feel like we can probably get them for the future rounds. And then this gives me like a little bit of win equity with a Packers wide receiver and a running back on there. So I don't mind taking him. Looks like we lost Zeke. That's a pretty big steal at this point in the draft, I think. But there's still plenty of running backs, and Sonny Michel is one guy that I personally, we'll see what Cam Akers does, but he projects really well for us in week 1. So I really don't mind going to him. And then, of course, just generally liking the Rams stack. But we do not have Matt Stafford to pair him with. So what are you doing here? Are you like organize? How are you approaching this next pick if you're me?
I'd probably take Boyd.
Don't you think we can get Boyd a lot later?
You probably can, but I think he's one of the most undervalued players out there right now. But
like picked 40. See, like I like to take risk. Like he's picked 42. I think there's probably about a 70% chance he's going to be there by the time we get back.
That's true, and you already have like 3 amazing receivers, so you don't even actually have to worry about that position if you didn't want to.
Cool. Let's take a risk. What are we doing here, though? Dallas, San Francisco. I could do like a little mini San Fran stack. Sonny Michel, but we can't pair him with any quarterback, which we're pretty much going to have to pair the rest of our remaining players or pair some of them with quarterbacks, don't you think?
Yeah, you like San Fran, you can go that direction. That's
all right. Should we do it? It's going to be risky, though. It's tough to pull off like Elijah Mitchell and George Kittle.
You could also go Prescott here.
But who am I pairing him with?
You could get Pollard. You could get Schultz. You could get
Schultz is probably going to be gone. I'd rather not.
Okay.
I don't know. Like Cedric Wilson and Schultz. I guess it's a pretty solid stack. You're not wrong.
Yeah, and the Cedric Wilson. So that's the thing I like. Well, that's why I like the Cowboys. There's so many options. That offense is just loaded. That's why I like the Bills too. Like there's so many options. Like that's why those 2 teams were my most exposure teams. And then the Bengals have come on like in the last week or 2 that I really upped my exposure to them because there's just so many ways to play it. And
do you also like feel a little bit more comfortable drafting those quarterbacks in the early rounds because they have so many weapons late? Like, for example, if you take an Aaron Rodgers, you've got pretty much 3 weapons to pair him with. If you take a Tannehill, it's maybe 3. With the Bills, like you can take an Isaiah McKenzie. I mean, you're not. It's not great, but you're going to have something unique. Gabriel Davis, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders. There's just like a plethora of guys that could go off in any game, and it gives you a lot more flexibility. If you miss out on a Diggs or a top pick, you're going to have options in the later rounds, right?
Yeah, I think that's why. That's why KC is not too bad either. Like you get Mahomes. Like if you miss out on the top 2 guys, like you can get the running backs. You can get like if you don't get Tyreek or Kelsey, you're still all right. To be honest.
And are you going to be? Let's hope Tyler Boyd lasts, but I think he will. Will you be drafting players off the board sometimes to create unique lineups? So like taking a DeMarcus Robinson who's probably going in like 2% of drafts.
I do, yes. Like if I have 4 KC guys, I'll add him in the 10th round as my 5th KC guy, or 4th KC guy. Like I think he's viable. Like he's probably going to get a touchdown throughout the playoffs at some point. Like he could bump you, and then if they go to the Super Bowl and you're already betting on Mahomes, like whatever points he gets in the Super Bowl, probably going to help you.
Yeah, makes total sense. What about Tyler Boyd went. We played with fire too much. Oh well.
Yeah, see, I think Tyler Boyd's like a 5th round pick in this, and he usually goes around the 7th.
So what was I going to say here? I just had another question for you as well. Do you ever are you taking like off the board stacks that no one has? Like I noticed Mac Jones is going in like I almost never see him go. Do you take are you like, hey, I got my Green Bay stack or whatever. I'm going to pair him with the Patriots and see if that Bill Belichick defense can do wonders here.
I don't usually do that, but sometimes I do if I miss out on the stacks I like you're kind of forced into it. And usually on those ones, it will force myself to a Cardinal stack most times because they all fall away. Like Kyler's, sometimes you can get him in the 10th round, to be honest. Like it's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. We just lost out on my pick here. So where are we going for? I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of support here for Elijah Mitchell. I'm thinking of Josh Jacobs here just because he gives me a nice solid floor for week 1 if Elijah Mitchell can't play. Pollard's probably the better pick, but I've already got a San Francisco stack. Akers too risky. I pretty much have to go Josh Jacobs at this point, right?
Yeah, but Jacobs, or if you're too QB guy, go with Kyler. Or
I'm going to stack Jimmy. Right? I think here. Jimmy. With,
okay, yeah, you already said
Elijah
that.
Mitchell.
Yep. No, that's a good build. Yeah, you got the San Fran. I have honestly not been drafting any San Fran.
I mean, it could go absolutely to shit real quick with San Fran. So totally understand not wanting to draft them. Whoops.
But, I mean, they're only a 3-point underdog to the Cowboys. It's not a bad spot. I just was so overweight on the Cowboys, and I just can't stop.
Can't bring yourself. Well, it does seem to me like a good value stack. You can get Debo, Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, and Garoppolo for free if you want to. It's a nice stack to pair with Kansas City as well because you don't have to go early. They've got some decent round 1 win equity. There's a lot to like about it for sure. Okay, so I'm going to take Garoppolo with one of my 2 remaining picks here. What else do I need? So it looks like if Green Bay were to face Cincinnati, I'd probably be not so hot. I'd need another Cincinnati player. That's something.
You can take Uzomah or the tight end.
Could take Uzomah as well.
Put him there. Any Green Bay guys left?
You could. Yeah, let's take a look. Green. So yeah, no one Cobb. Really. I don't really want to take Cobb or DeGuara. I don't love them, but
I think Cobb's actually a really good sneaky pick because he's going to be low owned. You get him in the 10th round. If you get your team through and you're already on the Packers, Rodgers likes him.
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's just do the quick math here. So let's say 49ers play the Bengals. You've got 1 running back and 2 receivers. It's a pretty contrarian stack. You might be.
What about Ayuk? Ayuk, is he still there? You're already in. You're already in on the 49ers. I would go him probably over all these guys.
It's not the worst call I've ever heard in my life. So then you got a 49ers Bengals stack. It's doable. Packers versus Bengals. It seems. You're pretty much relying. I kind of didn't plan this out, which sometimes just happens in the nature of it. But you're basically saying San Francisco or Cincinnati need to make the finals if this team is going to be doing well. What I would have done probably differently is maybe paired a different AFC team with this Green Bay stack. But it is what it is. In these drafts move so quickly. It's really hard to sit there and go oh my God, I did perfectly every time, right?
No, I actually really like this draft. I don't even draft 49ers, and I like what you did.
Nice. Well, with this one, we've got, AJ Dillon. We've got, have I shrunk my screen here? Oh, that's good. Okay. We've got AJ Dillon. We've got Elijah Mitchell, Josh Jacobs. So you've got 2 running backs that could put up points in week 1, and obviously a pretty nice bevy of receivers there. So, what would you give that?
You'd also be good as San.
What's that?
San Fran and KC stack. You would also have 5 in the Super Bowl. You have 4 different variations there. So that was a good build.
We'll take it. You're right. We forgot about that Kelsey pick. So, give me before we get out of here, we got a little bit of time. Don't forget to use promo code Awesemo. $100 deposit match at Underdog. It's a great deal. And Underdog, man, best ball is coming on. I cannot believe how many mittens filled. It's the future of fantasy. It's so much more fun than fantasy football. It's basically takes all of the most fun elements of fantasy football, which is drafting and a good sweat, and takes out the most boring ones, which are following waiver wires and putting trade requests out to your buddies that they never respond to, right? So I personally am very bullish on the future of best ball. I know you are as well, hey?
Oh yeah, it's what I do. I think not only for football, not only for NFL playoffs, all the sports, it's going to even grow even further. I'm seeing it with NBA already. Actually, I'm a huge hockey fan, and my favorite fantasy contest I've ever done is the best puck that they do on Underdog.
I got a few teams in that.
Yeah, it's I've always grew up playing hockey and watching hockey and fantasy hockey, and that contest the last 2 years have kept me so interested. So
I forgot to mention we are both Canadian as well, right? We're representing the Great White North on this show. So
yeah, you're from Vancouver?
Vancouver originally, yeah, though
Yep.
I'm now in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So
Yep. And I'm from Toronto area and living
there you
in
go.
Salt Lake City, Utah
We're
area.
gonna try and have all the Canadians take over Awesemo. It's just part of my plan, so just keep it on the deal. We're also going to be developing a lot of best ball projections here. I know if you're a best ball fan, stay tuned at Awesemo. I think there's going to be a lot coming down the road that we're going to be delving into over the coming months as best ball continues to grow and grow. Before we get out of here, James, give me like your top 3 or top 5 tips for anyone that's new to Underdog that's doing some of these playoff drafts. What would you advise them to do and as they're building their teams?
I think just like we did, just kind of walk through it, make a process, tell a story. I think you have to do maybe 2 or 3 just to get a feel for it. You might screw up, you might mess up some picks, you might get sniped on some picks, but you're going to get a feel how the draft room works. Kind of look through those drafts, look through the draft board, and these are for like new people just starting out. And then once you do that, you'll kind of come up with a process and what you like. Kind of try different things, be different. If you're gonna put in 10 teams, try to create like a mini portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Gauntlet's a tough contest, and obviously with the big prizes up top, you have to think differently. So you're hoping like that last build you did with the San Fran build, you're hoping that comes up. If that goes all the way to the finals, not a lot of people are going to have a San Fran build. So that's going to give you huge leverage over the field. Look for those unique combos at the start. That's what I've been noticing recently. So everyone's so focused on these stacks. Like they're going to be at the turn. They're going to take Mike Evans and Brady, just like that. And maybe
Diggs and Allen.
Yeah. And maybe like Diggs or maybe, yeah, who knows? Maybe Adams falls or Chase or I don't know, like a lot of different players. So I'm trying to use my first 3 picks now just to take like these smash players for one out of 6 advancing. So I want like you did in that last draft. Who did you have? You had Kelsey, Adams, and Chase.
Chase, that's a good start if you make it around 2. My God, those guys.
Yeah, and then just build your stacks from there. Like if you miss out on Allen and Mahomes, like I think that's the way to play it instead of going with a Brady stack. I think I would rather do the higher upside, bigger star players that can put up 20 plus fantasy points for me and get me over the hump, and then figure out the stacks along the way, and hopefully a QB falls to you, and then you land on a stack.
Yeah, good advice. I think, pretty much everything you said there is a great kind of beginner guide to how you approach these drafts, right? And one thing as well, we haven't really touched on, we kind of touched on with San Francisco, but like if you can be different, like you're probably plus EV. Like if you get a few stars and you take like a Mac Jones and a Jalen Hurts draft, you're thinking this is just a garbage team I put together. Like Mac Jones does nothing and the Eagles aren't going to win. Well, you probably still have like a 0.5% chance of advancing those 2 teams to the Super Bowl. And that's like 1 in 200. And let me tell you, 1 in 200 people are not going to have that combo. So, don't be afraid to get different with these teams, right?
No, I think that's a great point. Yeah, for sure. And getting out of that first round, you double up your money as well. So I wouldn't advise you to play these tournaments like as a double up or a cash game. But if you wanted to, you could just take all those guys first round. Yep. But you could do it in a way, like you say, take the Eagles. What if they do beat Tampa Bay, or take some of those lesser teams that no one's taking? You play it as a double up, but then you have a crazy leverage over the field if that team wins. So
yeah, makes sense. All right, I forgot to ask for likes and subscribes. I can't even believe it. It's too late now, but we're gonna get on out of here. Hit the leave a comment, say who your favorite stack is and how you're approaching it. Hit us up with questions as well. We will from time to time come on in here and answer questions. What do we got? Just one final thing before we leave. Future, any insights into what best ball is going to look like in the next little bit? Obviously, NFL is like winding down pretty quick. What are you expecting on the horizon? Like some big MLB contests? Anything else? You got your nose to the ground, ear to the ground?
I think Underdog, they just feel like they're all in on everything. So I just think this is just a start from where it's going to go. Like if you're early days DFS player, when FanDuel, like before DraftKings came on, like this is Underdog right now. Like everyone's going to want a piece of this soon. And I just think every sport's just going to have tournaments. And the nice thing about it is there's not a lot of information out there. Like I'm sure Awesemo, we're going to have information. We're going to have stuff out there for the readers. But right now, it's so new. And everyone thinks they'll look at the numbers, look at last season. Hey, this is optimal. This is optimal. And it really isn't. Like nothing, like it may give you small edges here and there, but there's no 100% correct way to do it. And you probably have you could do 10 different strategies and they could all be right. So that's why it's so fun. And for every sport, for these playoff contests, like it's just strategy and it's just trying to think through it. And you can't just upload somebody's rankings and put together a winning team. Like I don't think you can do that in best ball. Like honestly, maybe for the cash games, but not for these tournaments. Like it's so different and it's fun. That's what makes it so fun and challenging, and it's fun with the whole community, the fantasy community out there, because everyone's talking to each other. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to help each other. It's no one saying, "Hey, I'm smarter than you." I don't think that exists right now in best ball. So
I feel like it does a little bit. There's some guys out there who think they've mastered strategy, and you're just like But I hope you're more right than wrong, anyways, right? So definitely trying to figure it out.
That's funny you said that because there was in the off season, right? There's a lot of different people saying different
a lot
things.
of people saying zero running backs were the only way to draft teams.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it out loud, but a lot of those different things, or like, hey, you can only take two QBs. It's like I can get 3 late QBs, or sometimes I took 4. And
my best team this year, James, was Mac Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Jimmy Garoppolo, and some, I can't remember, some other lot. Like I just was like, I was having a drink on like a sunny summer day and just screwing around, and it made it to like the semis.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of those people are right. You probably can sneak one of those teams, and if they do get in through, like you're probably gonna be ahead of the field, but you're giving up probably 90% of your other teams just to get that one. I don't know. It's tough, and it's just such a new game, and there's no right or wrong way to do it, and it just makes it so fun to me.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good note to end on. It is a lot of fun drafting these teams, and we're going to have you on more and more as we go here. James also has an article on Awesemo.com if you want to check out some more about his strategies. That's going to wrap it up for us. I think it's probably the 4th time I've tried to end the show, but I'm new at this. We'll get it right next time. Thanks for making time out of your day, for taking a little bit of time off of the mass multi gauntlets and chatting with us about strategy here. And if there's some more contests, maybe we'll have some more best ball shows in the future. Don't forget to use that promo code Awesemo. We will see you next time. We got a bunch of stuff as well. NBA deep dive coming up. Lots of NFL coverage. So stay tuned on the Awesemo YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone.